Hi there, and welcome to the channel of A Disappointed Man with me, Jason Kennedy, the Disappointed Man. Now it is Tuesday, and that means tags, and this week I was tagged by Aaron Facer. Thanks, Aaron, for thinking of me for the Extraordinarily Average Tag. That's right, created by David Wiley. Links in the description below. There are 9 prompts, so let's begin. Now I must say right at the start that when it comes to works of art, I'm not really interested in the average. In my younger days, I had very strong views on the subject. Now I have no view. Let people enjoy what they will, so long as they don't seek to deprive me of what I enjoy, so long as they don't seek to tell me that what they like is better than what I like because more people like it. So how am I going to approach this question of the average in these prompts? I'll interpret it more as things that are underrated. I think that's the best way to go forwards with this. Okay, number 1. What is a book that is viewed as average, but you felt it was extraordinary? Okay, I'll interpret this as a minor work by a major author that is rather neglected. Now, the problem is for some authors, their strongest work absorbs all of the critical attention, and that is the case with Robert Louis Stevenson. We have The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and also Treasure Island. But his other work is really brilliant too. In fact, just about everything he wrote is worthy of reading. And I'm going to choose his The Master of Ballantrae, which is a truly superb Gothic novel. If you enjoyed Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights, The Bride of Lammermoor, etc., I would urge you to give it a try. It's a tale of sibling rivalry, one brother good, the other a study in evil, and Stevenson is so good at capturing the dynamics of the brothers' relationship. It's a wonderful read. Okay, next. Who is an author viewed as average but you felt was extraordinary? I'm going to answer with regard to critical reputation, and a writer I feel is still hugely underrated is Philip K. Dick. The reason is obvious. He wrote primarily in the science fiction genre, which is regarded with indifference at best, contempt at worst by the vast majority of literary scholars. Yet, in terms of the fertility of his imagination, he has every right to be regarded as one of the most important writers of the 20th century, a true visionary. I'm a huge fan of many of his books. I would just choose 2 that stand out above the others. Flow My Tears, the Policeman Said, and perhaps my favourite, Ubik. Okay, next. Who is a musician or band whose music is viewed as average but you felt was extraordinary? I think this is an easy one for me to answer because my favourite genres of music are punk and post-punk, and all of the musicians in these genres were, by definition, average. They were not technically accomplished. However, they produced lots of extraordinary work, lots of amazing art. So I'll go with my favourite band, Joy Division, who are an embodiment of this apparent contradiction. Rudimentary music skills, yet they created high art. Next. What is a TV show or movie that is considered average but you felt was extraordinary? Okay, TV show first. Well, one of my favourite ever TV shows was cancelled after just a handful of episodes, and that is Police Squad, which is now acknowledged as an absolute classic. So there's that. However, my favourite TV show of all time is Columbo. I should note that I stopped watching TV in the late 90s when the X-Files ran out of steam. Okay, a movie that is perhaps not regarded as an amazing work of art, but that I felt was exceptional, I would choose Poltergeist by Steven Spielberg. It really is, on repeated viewing, something of a masterpiece in my eyes. If that surprises you, good. Next. What is a Booktube channel whose subscriber count is average but you feel is extraordinary? Well, I'd have to say, in all honesty, it's this channel, the one you're watching now. There are Booktube channels, naming no names, with 10 times as many subscribers as I have, but I don't feel that they're 10 times as good. I better not say any more. Okay, next. What is a skill you are average at, but at which you'd like to become extraordinary? I'm spoiled for choice here because I'm average at pretty much everything. I think there are only 2 things I've shown any aptitude for in my life: learning and teaching. Everything else has been pretty much a disaster. And some things I'm just terrible at. I can't sing, I can't dance. When I learned to drive, I discovered I was better at crashing. So, if there was something that would really help me with my studies, it's if I was better at learning languages, where again, I'm just average. My Spanish is good, but I have the ambition to be able to read critical works in Spanish, French, Italian, and German. It's a difficult goal to achieve. However, in the next 4 years, I have a whole university languages department at my disposal. So if I don't reach this goal, I'll have only myself to blame. So there it is, language learning. Next. Okay, I'll use the paper for this one. It's a little long. You find a time machine that will take you back in time for a day, but the day you select must be an average day. Where would you go and what would you do to make the trip extraordinary? I've got 3 ideas here. 1, go back and see Edmund Spenser as he's hard at work on the Fairy Queen and say, Edmund, 3 books will be more than enough. Okay, understand? Option 2, Charles Dickens. He's hard at work on The Mystery of Edwin Drood. Charles, if you don't speed up, you're going to die before you finish this book. At the very least, just write now on the manuscript who did it and spare us all this speculation. And then lastly, and this would be my actual choice, I would spend a day in the company of Oscar Wilde, which I imagine would be anything but average. Next. You win a week's vacation, but all the popular tourist spots are booked up. Where would you go and what would you do to make the trip extraordinary? Now, I am a very fortunate person because I spent most of my 30s traveling around the world. The most beautiful place I visited was Guatemala, and so I spent 5 years there, and I really loved being in the jungle and visiting all the Mayan ruins, and the skies at night above Lake Atitlan were incomparable. So these days I rarely hanker after a vacation. So if I did go somewhere, I think it would be rather low-key, rather sedate. I'd go back to Freiburg and spend a week walking in the Black Forest. I think that would be wonderful. Next. The final prompt. Tag some extraordinary channels. No. If you feel you are operating an extraordinary channel, then you be my guest and take on the challenge of doing the Extraordinarily Average Tag. I hope you've enjoyed those answers, but all that remains is for me to bid you farewell. Be safe, be strong, and I shall see you anon. Nanu nanu.